I met Daniel on a Tuesday that felt like any other Tuesday. The coffee shop was crowded, and he offered me half of his table with a smile that made me forget I was running late for work. That smile became my favorite part of every day. 6 months later, I was in love with a man who never talked about his past. At first, I didn't notice. We were too busy falling into each other, discovering shared tastes in music and books, laughing until our sides ached. He knew how I took my coffee. He remembered every story I told him. He listened like I was the only person in the world. But Daniel never volunteered anything about himself. No childhood stories, no mention of family. When I asked about his parents, he'd say, "It's complicated," and change the subject so smoothly I barely noticed the deflection. "Where did you grow up?" I asked one evening, curled up on his couch. "Here and there," he said, kissing my forehead. "Tell me more about your sister's wedding plans." Then came the night everything changed. We'd been together for nearly a year when his phone rang at 2 a.m. I felt him tense beside me, saw the name flash across the screen. Sarah. He grabbed the phone and left the room, but I heard fragments through the door. "I can't. Not now. She doesn't know anything." "Daniel, who's Sarah?" I finally asked one night. The color drained from his face. For a long moment, he just stared at me, and I saw something I'd never seen before. Fear. "I need to tell you something," he said quietly, "and I'm terrified you'll leave." He took both my hands in his, and I noticed they were shaking. 5 years ago, I testified against someone dangerous. I'm in witness protection, Emma. My real name isn't Daniel. Sarah is my handler. This life, this city, this coffee shop where we met, it's all temporary. It was always supposed to be temporary. "I was never supposed to fall in love," he said. "But then I met you, and for the first time in 5 years, I felt like a real person again. Not just someone in hiding, but someone who could have a future." Tears streamed down my face. "What happens now?" "Sarah called because there's been a development. They might have found me. I might have to disappear again." I pulled my hands away, needing space to breathe. "Were any of your feelings real?" I whispered. Everything I felt was real, everything. He reached for me, then stopped himself. "The only lie was my name. My love for you. That's the most honest thing about me." "What's your real name?" I asked. He hesitated, then said softly, "Michael." I thought about all the moments we'd shared, but I also thought about the lies. "I have a choice to make," he continued. "I can be relocated again, or I can stay. But Emma, I can't make that choice without knowing, is there an us to fight for?" "I loved Daniel," I said. "I don't know if I can love Michael." I left him there and walked into the cold night air. Behind me was a man I loved. Ahead of me was nothing but uncertainty. The thing about secrets is they don't just hide the past. They steal the future, too. 3 days later, I found an envelope under my door. It started with 3 words. "Let me try." But that's a story for another time.